That's a great question, Diane.
Super question.
A lot of people, they ask this question, and the scholars, many scholars, get bogged down in the yeses and the no's, the do's and the don'ts of what God said, what God did, what God won't do. And I think we should just go back to the nature of God, because God is someone, first of all, God is someone who was present with Adam before Eve. And in Genesis chapter 2, the Bible says that God brought animals to Adam, and Adam named the animals. And so Adam became a part of what God did. That's very important. He became a part of what God made. And he became somebody who talked and spoke into that. Now, a lot of people don't recognize that. They don't see that. They just see the world as fallen in sin and just forget it. Just get this thing over with. But the nature of God is that God is someone who is a perfect recreator. I remember talking to a friend of mine who was talking to me about Jesus Christ, and he said to me, what is it about Jesus Christ that makes him so different? And I began to work on it and everything, but the DNA of Jesus Christ is fully human and fully divine. So God created the DNA, and Romans tells us that the first Adam messed it up. The first Adam and Eve messed it all up. But the second Adam, which is Christ, fixed it. And so what does this mean? Well, this means that everything under sin is going to be recreated. Now, you also talked about this when you were speaking about creation, and Romans chapter 8. This is a good one. What did it tell you?
Well, I remember, and first of all, we are talking about God's nature, and he is creator. He is love, and he loves for us to love. And I think it must have been so exciting for God to watch Adam meet the animals. And much like when we have pets, and we will watch them over maybe a couple of days, and we'll come up with different names, and we'll pick a name that we think suits that animal. So I think that relationship right from the very beginning of time would have been a very special bond. And of course, God asked of Adam and Eve, he asked humankind to take care of the animals, to literally to keep them from evil. And we didn't do that. We chose for ourselves, and then there was a separation, and sin came in. And Romans 8 tells us, it says, for the creation, this is Romans 8 verse 20, for the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Let me back up, because actually in verse 18, let's back up. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now. Not only that, but we also who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body.
This is excellent. This passage is so deep and so amazing and so glorious. We don't get it. We just read this and say, isn't that great? No, listen. Jesus Christ, I believe, and you believe, and we understand this. Jesus Christ came, died on the cross, and rose again. He did more work in the afterlife. He did more work that we didn't see than we did see. As a matter of fact, I mean, and you can read it in Matthew chapter 27, it says that the graves of the righteous in Jerusalem opened up and they went around and said hi to each other and all that after his resurrection. But this is something amazing. God is going to set free this creation. Understand that everything born, everything that is in existence, everything that is alive, your pets, your animals, and by the way, they have animals. I mean, I see horses in heaven. I mean, the Bible tells us that. I mean, so everything that we see, God is going to, and is in the process of redeeming it to make it free. That's the nature of God. That's who he is. He's the Redeemer. You know, we sing that all the time.
Yes.
You know, Jesus Christ is the Redeemer. That's what he's doing. And so this is a deeper question than, does my cat go to heaven or does my dog go to heaven? This is much deeper. This is a very interesting point. And I would submit and I would suggest to people that you read Romans 8 very carefully. That's only one place it's in, but Romans 8 talks about how God is going to redeem all of creation and all that has happened. Now, what's that going to be like? I mean, I think about these animals that I've had, and, I mean, to go through their relationship with me without sin, man, that's different. The same animal, only I'm his leader, but I'm without sin, and he's without sin, and we're all without sin. That's totally amazing, and there's no death.
That's right.
So that's totally amazing. And this is one possibility of looking at heaven. So
it's like God is going to be resetting everything.
That's right.
It's a brand new start without sin, the way he intended it. And a lot of my own personal belief with this came with the death of one of our pets that we had she was almost 14 years old.
Yeah,
and I
precious,
remember crying and crying. My heart was broken because this little one had been sick for a long time. And so she was almost, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week care. And she became such a part of my heart that I was devastated when she was gone. And I remember crying out to the Lord, and I remember him specifically, I felt in my heart, read Romans 8. And that was the section that I read, and it was like, could it be, God, that this would be true, that you would literally restart, that all of our love and our attention, even to animals, and some might say even to the animals, yes, even to the animals, because those were created and loved by God. And that was one of our assignments, was to take care of, to keep from evil, and we failed. But now we're going to have a second chance. And it's not about us being happy, because, just please tell me my pet's going to be in heaven so that I can be happy. It's not about us being happy. Understand, it's about the nature of who God is. He is love. He is the creator. This is possible for him to do. We could say, well, how is it possible that... It's possible because we're talking about the God of the impossible. There is nothing that he can't do. And so read Romans 8 and pray about it and ask the Lord to reveal to you. He said, come to me and I will answer the unanswerable things. And it is possible for our God. He's going to restart. It's going to be a new world.
It really is.
Beginning.
A new heaven and a new earth. And remember that Jeremiah chapter 33, verses 1 through 3, and it says, Jeremiah, ask of me the unsearchable things, and I will show them to you. And God speaks to us. God speaks to us.
The other part too, and I know this has been a very long answer, but it's a really good and deep question, and that is in Genesis 9. It also talks about the animals having to give an account of the blood of man, taking the blood of man. So where does that become reconciled if it's just over and done with? There's more to it. There's more to this. It's very, like you said before, it's very deep. But always keep in mind that we are talking about the nature of who God is in this. It's not about us. It's about the nature of who God is.
That's
and
right.
his redemption.
Yeah, that's right. That's important to say so people don't think we're starting cults. We're not starting cults. We're simply explaining that the nature of God is amazing. Thank you for your question. What a great question that was. Thank you.